Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 18 of What If Naruto Was Sent to the Marvel World. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto Was a Smart Project over on Anime King 2, and I hope you guys enjoy. And stay in tune because after this I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto Was a Deceitful God. So stay in tune for that and I hope you guys do enjoy. And go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto Was a Badass Genius on this channel. And enjoy that guys. And remember, if you're new to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. I really appreciate it guys. And yeah, without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their
So, the last part we left off, Naruto was still in his cosmic sage mode, as he built a Rasengan with each of the tail beasts, as their power combined as a massive orb of energy surrounded it, as this Zack lit up with all of his power, as he thrust forward as Naruto thrust the Rasengan forward. A massive boom that shook the entire Safari Desert was echoed out. Not even the Queen Jet could stay afloat, as Hawkeye had to pull it back. The explosion teared through the desert like nothing has ever seen before. Once the explosion finally cleared, there was a giant crater, as Tony said that that attack could have wiped out an entire city. Naruto was on the ground panting heavily as the Zack. His armor was teared off completely, leaving him in black pants only. Cuts and bruises were all over his body, and huge gaps, chunks were taken out of him. As he said that screw what Thanos said, he was going to kill Naruto, as he grabbed Naruto by the throat and pinned him down to the ground. But Naruto exploded in smoke, as the real Naruto burst from the ground and drive his Chidori hand right through the Zack's chest, tearing through his heart, ending his life. As the Zack fell over as Naruto pushed him off, as Kurama told him that he could sleep now. As Naruto collapsed, he woke up in the hospital as Tony started to give him a run through of what happened in the last 3 years that he was missing, as Tony took him to a room where Banner was, Steve, Natasha, and Clint, as they explained to Naruto what happened over the 3 years. As they started to ask him what did he do, as Naruto started to talk, but Natasha started to leave the room, as Naruto explained about the Ravengers and all that. As he arrived at the door, as he knocked, as Natasha asked who is it. As he told her it was him, she opened the door and looked at him, as he asked if he could come in, as she let him in. As she said that he must go ahead and curse at her. But Naruto asked why should he, as she told him to go ahead and curse at her, even hit her, to get out his anger. But Naruto told her, even though he didn't know if he could forgive her for what he did, he wouldn't curse at her, as she started to cry. As she started to cry on his shoulder, as she was really sorry, as Naruto could tell that she was really sorry. Meanwhile, all that was going on, a man named Jace was in a business meeting, as he was told by his partner, well, he was like his superior, that a man named Victor went up against the boss, and Victor sent 3 of his men to shoot at the boss' house, but 2 of them got killed and 1 escaped, and the boss didn't like that, so he wanted Jason to take care of it. Meanwhile, Naruto went to visit a woman, as he didn't want to stay with Natasha too long because he knew what would happen if he did. The both of them will get caught up in long-time feelings and all that, as the woman's son died 3 years ago. Naruto was supposed to help her, but all of this happened and then he forgot. There was a gang leader giving guns to kids, and Naruto didn't take them off the streets. As Naruto went to a woman called Jessica Jones, as he arrived to see her and her friend there, her friend name was Trish, as Jessica was making fun of the whisker marks on Naruto's face. As Naruto told her about the man he wants to go against, as she said she could get a few things here and there to find him. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself, so let's start this new episode. Pain. That was the first thing Victor could comprehend when consciousness returned to him. His head was throbbing, pulsing violently, as he felt something running down his head. As he looked at his pajama top, as he saw a lot of blood. He then heard his wife and his daughter crying. As he saw his entire family, his wife, his son and his daughter, and his son had peed himself, as they were all strapped to a chair right in front of him. As he looked over at his children and his wife, as he spoke to them in his native tongue, Maria, as he started to talk to them, as he was trying to quiet them down. As the sound of a door opening cut off him from talking anymore. As Victor gave him a brave smile, the bravest he can muster. As 3 people entered the room, 2 people went behind his family and one of them was behind him. The third man didn't wear a ski mask over his face. As Victor saw him, he was a rather handsome man with blonde hair and blue eyes, as he was in his mid-30s. As he had on gloves and black boots, as he had on a hoodie as well, but it was pulled down. And he had a Beretta handgun in his hand. "Hola, Mr. Vasquez," the man said. "Who are you?" Victor said. "Oh, my name is Jason," the man said. Now, there is 4 bullets in this clip. I am sure you understand it's not the accident why I have 4. Yes, I do," said Victor. "Good," said Jason, as he pointed the gun right at Maria's forehead. As Victor looked at his wife, who was scared, as tears are streaming down her face. "You sent 3 men to kill Wilson Fisk 2 days ago. 2 of them are killed. I need the name of the 3rd. Now wait just a second." Bang! That was all that Victor heard. Blinking rapidly, he watched his wife's head fall over, lifeless. His daughter started screaming out loud as she struggled against her bindings, tears streaming down her face. Junior was no better. Even through the tape, his son was screaming for his mother to wake up. "Now listen to me, Victor. I don't want to have to kill your son, understand? You're a dead man, you understand me? A dead man," Victor said. Bang! As his son leaned over in his chair, lifeless as well. "No!" Victor screamed. I'll tell you, he said. He pleaded as he saw the gun shift towards his daughter, Michael Raines. "That's his name. Please, don't hurt her." "Contact info," said Jason, knowing that any hesitation would get his daughter and himself killed. "It's in my phone." "What's the password?" asked Jason. 022301. As he found the name in the phone. "Thank you," said Jason, as he then looked at his 2 men that were there, as he walked out, as 2 gunshots went off. Meanwhile, Jessica and Naruto sit in a taxi cab, as they sit in uncomfortable silence, giving a couple of side glances towards her. Naruto thought about possible conversations. "Where do I know you from?" "Huh?" said Naruto. "I asked where do I know you from. Are you a celebrity or something? Maybe an athlete. You have a build." "Oh really?" Naruto said. "You've been paying attention, huh?" Jessica rolled her eyes, "You wish," she said, as she brushed away some hair from her face. "Now, seriously, where do I know you from?" "You're a PI, right? Where is the fun in me telling you?" "Asshole," she said. "Bitch," Naruto shot back, as Jessica was cut off by the taxi driver, as he looked through the mirror. "Hey, don't want to get into anything, but do you really think you should be talking to a girl like that, buddy?" he said, looking at Naruto. Jessica leaned over. "Mind your goddamn business and drive the cab, asshole," she said, as the man looked surprised. He was trying to defend her. "You're a piece of work, you know that, lady?" "Do you really think I give a shit?" she said. "Just do your goddamn job before I show you what a piece of work I truly am, understood?" The driver scoffed, but he didn't say anything, as he brought his attention back to the road as the light went green. Naruto raised a brow. "You really don't take any bullshit, do you?" "Why would I?" she said, as she then turned towards the window and looked outside, as the car remained silent for the rest of the drive. Pulling up on the curve, Naruto leaned forward as he looked at the building. "This the place?" "Yep," said Jessica. "This stash house belonged to Harlem Paradise. And let's just say they run Harlem, and T work for anyone. It would be them, so he would be here." "Alright," Naruto said as he spotted a payphone. As he looked at the taxi driver, "That phone work?" "Yeah man, I guess." "You guessed," Naruto said, as Naruto pulled out a wad of cash from his back pocket. $600 to stay on the curb. "Cool." The man was too busy counting the bills as he didn't even look at Naruto. Yeah, he said. He then stopped counting. 400 more to keep quiet, he said. Naruto snorted. You're lucky to get 6. Guess that's fair, the man said. Hey, wait, Jessica said. Where are you going? You're not seriously going in there, are you? Yep, Naruto said. Fine, do whatever you want, she said as she leaned back. As she watched him, strolled up to the apartment complex. What the hell is he doing, she said in shock. As she watched him knock on the door. As she watched the door open barely. As he kicked the door off the frame. As she then heard screaming as it could be heard going up the stairs. As the driver and Jessica jumped at the crack of gunfire. As shots started to ring out and flashes of light showing that they were on the 3rd floor. Nah man, screw this, the driver said. Hey, Jessica said, you took his money, you stay here. I'm not dying tonight over 600. You're not gonna die, said Jessica. Look, what's your name? Roman Kuznetsov. Kuznetsov? Is that Russian? She asks. You don't sound it. I'm a New Yorker, born and raised. My old man came here in the 40s, before the war. Well, Roman, you're not gonna die. I promise, she said. She then watched as a man break through the window and fell on the ground. As she saw the blonde came out, as he didn't even have a scratch on him. As he walked up and whispered a few words, the man told him something as Naruto went up to the phone, as he started to dial. As he talked on the phone for a moment, he then hung it up and walked back over to the car, 1432, 83rd Street, Brooklyn. As he went in and strapped on his seatbelt. After realizing that the car wasn't moving, he looked around the cab. What's the matter? He asked. Was it a bit much? Sorry, I have some pent up shit I need to get off my chest. What do you mean what's the matter? Roman said. If you honestly think we're going anywhere after that bullshit, you're crazy, Jessica said. Naruto sighed as he pulled out another wad of cash. Look, here's 400 more. Just drive me where I need to go. And drop me off. As he reached over to pay the driver, but Jessica grabbed onto his hand. As Naruto looked at her surprised. This wasn't normal strength. That's our grip you got there. She scoffed. Keep this up and I'll break your arm. It seems like you run into another super freak, said Kurama. What do you want? Naruto said. I want to know who you are, said Jessica. No one can do what you did and just walk away like it never happened. You have to be a superhero, Naruto said. As Jessica was at a loss for words. As she leaned back and pulled out her flask. As she took a drink, she looked at the driver. Drive. Roman looked back to her. What? Drive, she said. Drive so we can get this over with. As Naruto looked at Jessica. Vodka, really? She flashed him a middle finger as she kept on drinking. Meanwhile, Jason just talked to his employer as he told the man the name of the one that escaped as he was currently in his car. As he just got fast food as he stuffed some fries in his mouth. He then heard something knock on his window. Before he could do anything, the window was smashed to pieces as he was pulled out of the car by his face. As 4 people started to stomp on him as Jason couldn't even register what was happening as he tried to pull his gun from his waist. But someone stomped on his hand, breaking it, as he watched one of them brought down his feet and stomp on his skull before everything went black. Meanwhile, Naruto got to his destination as he got out of the cab. You coming? He asked Jessica. And why would I? She asked. Because you're curious, Naruto said. About what? Jessica said. Me, Naruto said, the smile on his face. She rolled her eyes and turned away as Naruto started to walk off. As Roman then turned, where to, miss? He asked. Thanks for the ride, Roman, she said. As she got out of the cab and followed behind Naruto. As Naruto's spotter told you, he said, as she walked up to his side. Jessica rolled her eyes, as it felt like this was 100th time today. I'm sure you came to the same conclusion I have. And what is that? Naruto asked. We're the same, she said. Huh? Naruto said. Don't act like you didn't notice. I should have broken your wrist earlier, but you act like it was nothing. You're cursed, just like me. Your curse is nothing like mine, trust me, Naruto said. Realizing that they were where they need to be, Naruto looked around as he was trying to spot another payphone. As he didn't see any. I'll be back, he said. What are you going to do? She asked, as he walked up to the building steps. I'm gonna go get a phone, he said. As Naruto didn't bother knocking this time, he kicked the door open, as several people inside looked at him with shock on their faces. As Naruto punched the first man in his face as he was knocked down cold, as he then dashed forward and jabbed the other one into his stomach, knocking him down. As Naruto flicked his wrist, a 2 shuriken appeared as he thrust his hand behind him as he stabbed into the two men behind his shoulder, pinning them to the wall. As he ignored their screams of pain, his focus on the last man in the room. As Naruto pointed his hand like a gun, as wind built up at the tip of his finger, as he fired. As it hit the man right in his side as he cried out in pain, as Naruto jumped over and delivered a brutal kick to his face, knocking him out. As Naruto slowly made his way up the stairs, as he then heard, he quickly substituted a vase, as the vase was torn to pieces by gunshots. In the room, T cursed as he was reloading his gun. "Do your mother," as he cursed, "have any idea who you're dealing with?" he said. "Do you know who owned this house? You're gonna die tonight to hear that," he said, as he aimed at the door. Boil release. Erupting propulsion fist to the voice. Boom. T was surprised as the wall right next to him exploded, blowing him away as he heard a ringing in his ear. T then saw someone walking towards him as his vision was a bit blurry. A fist then slammed into his face as Naruto started to deliver a barrage of punches until T was a bloody mess. As he wiped the blood on T's shirt and got up. Someone else was here as he went to the bathroom, as he heard a person breathing rather heavily as he entered the sea. An African-American boy, as he was around 11 or 12. As the boy was shaking in fear as he took a step back. As Naruto heard a clicking as the boy had a gun in his hand, as he pointed at Naruto. "Get away," he yelled. "I'm not." "Get away," the boy yelled. "I'll kill you," he said as he pointed the gun at Naruto. Naruto stepped forward as the gun pressed on his chest. "Do it then." "I'm not playing," the boy said. "Neither am I." "Kill me," Naruto said. But the boy released the gun as he dropped down. As he dropped to the ground. As Naruto looked down at the boy. "What's your name, kid?" The boy shrugged. As Naruto reached down, as he manipulated fire in his hand and burned the gun, as it melted, as he threw it in the sink. "You have a phone, kid?" Meanwhile, Jessica was tapping her foot as she was getting rather irritated. The sound of gunfire stopping a long time ago, as she wondered how long it would take for the police to show up here. "If that asshole get me arrested, I'm gonna kill him," she said. As she long finished off her flask. "I need a drink," she said to herself. As she then heard something as she turned to see him coming towards her, his hands in his pockets. "You ready?" "I've been ready. There is no telling when the cops will show up, asshole. And the last thing I need is spend a night in a cell." "They're gonna be here probably soon," Naruto said, considering that I called them, as he walked out looking for a taxi. "And why in God's name would you do that?" Jessica asked. "How else are they gonna get arrested?" Naruto asked. "Was that really what was going on here? Some kind of vigilante bullshit?" she asked. "Yep," Naruto said. "You're an asshole. I hope you know this is a one-time thing." "I figured," Naruto said a nod. "You don't seem like the kind of person, if I must be honest." As he looked at her with a smile. "I'm kind of envious, actually." But the taxi showed up as Naruto went inside. Jessica came in as well. "Where to?" the taxi driver asked. "Nearest bar," Jessica said. As she looked at Naruto, "You can do whatever you want." "I guess I can go for a drink as well," he said. Meanwhile, pain. That was the first thing Jason can feel when consciousness returned back to him. As blood was all over his shirt as his head was leaking. And also, he smelled gasoline, a lot of it. It was like the place was soaked in it. As he started to hear voices. The room that he was in, he could only describe it as a dungeon. As some man was in front of him, each of them were in black with strange masses, like fox and dogs, Japanese style. As Jason was on his knees, as his hands were strapped behind his back. As he tried to pull, as he was attached to something, he couldn't move. As his attention was moved towards the door that slowly opened, as a man wearing the same black and a mask entered the room as well. The man pulled his tie and took it off, as he took off the black vest that he was wearing and handed it to one of the men. After that was a shirt, as he calmly took it off. As he took off his shirt, Jace could see that the man's chest was decorated with several tattoos. "Where am I?" Jason said. The man didn't say anything at first as he just walked forward towards Jason as he stopped a foot in front of him. The man then kneeled down as one of the several men grabbed a torch and gave it to the boss. "You're going to feel pain, but that is necessary. It was as same for many before you. He has returned to us because of our great work. Now it is only a matter of time before he bestows upon us his great power, the power of godly fire. I don't know what you're talking about, Jason said. You're messing with a man that worked for the most powerful man in New York. Do you understand? I am the wrong man for you to... But he was cut off. But you're the perfect man. The resemblance between you and our God is uncanny. As Jason didn't know how to respond to that, as he wanted to get out of the situation. I have a family, Jason said. So did Victor. Jason didn't have an argument for that. The man then stood up straight. Just know that your sacrifice is a catalyst for the new age. An age where we will rule with our gifted power. No religions, no wars, no borders, only peace. As he simply threw the torch forward as he stepped back, as gasoline was surrounded Jason, as it ignited. Jason started to scream as the fire started to eat away at his legs, coming up, burning him. As he screamed on top of his lungs. Praise the God of fire, the man said. Praise the maelstrom, the other said. As they all said it, praise the God of fire. Praise the maelstrom. Time skip. The sound of a keyhole going into a door. It sounded very grunt like the person was moving a little bit sloppy. As it was Naruto as he pushed open the door. As he tried not to wake the woman draped around him. As she was out cold. Dragging her through the apartment, he carefully made his way to her bedroom. As he took her in his arms and gently laid her on the bed. As he put a pillar behind her from keeping her from rolling on her back. As Naruto stood up as he rubbed his head as he had a headache. I told you not to drink so much, idiot, Kurama said. I should slow down your healing factor just to teach you a lesson. Naruto grunted. I'm on vacation, Kurama. Vacation mean getting drunk at some point in time, I think. Well, come to think of it, I never really had one, Naruto said. What would you call the last 3 years then, asked Kurama. Exploration, Naruto said. As he walked over to the clock. It was already 7 in the morning. I need sleep, Naruto said as he rubbed his forehead. There's a bed right there, said Kurama. Not funny, Naruto said. Just saying, said Kurama. Naruto was cut off as a knock came from the door. It was a woman's voice. Hello? Jessica, even in her drunken slumber, heard the knock. Go away, she said. I know it's early, but please, I need to speak to you. I have money. I'll pay whatever you want, the voice said. As Naruto waited for Jessica's reply, but she passed out again. I'm coming, Naruto said. As he walked over to find a rather pretty woman standing there. But she looked rather tired, telling that she has been up almost the entire night. As Naruto looked at her, Miss Jones is asleep. Maybe come back to, but he was cut off. I'm sorry, but I cannot wait that long. Her voice was very desperate. Please, she said. As he saw that she was about to cry. Oh, alright, Naruto said as he stepped aside and let her in. Thank you, she said as she walked in the apartment. I was recommended to come here last night by a colleague. But from what I heard, I thought it would be a bit more professional. I figured the same, Naruto said with a chuckle, as he walked over to the decks. Ignoring the fact that she's passed out. She's got some skills, Naruto said. Look, I don't know how I can help you. She's not in any condition to talk to you, and I'm a client myself. The woman sighed. I figure this was a lost cause. As she took a shaky breath as she continued, my husband never came home last night. When I went to the police, they said that there were nothing they could do. He was likely at someone's house, friends drinking or something. As she chuckled, but there was no humor in her voice. That's nothing like my husband. He doesn't drink, and he doesn't have friends. As she wiped a tear from her eye, I don't know what I'm going to tell my kids, to be honest. I'm sorry, she said, for unloading my problems on you. I doubt you care. No, it's fine, Naruto said. Here, the least I can do is write down your information. I'll make sure she sees it, promise. Thank you, she said. What's your name, said Naruto. Gloria. It's Gloria Cartwright. Time skip. What do you mean you made him leave? Said Secretary Ross. Well, I want you to tell me, said Tony. What can I do to stop someone like Naruto? Tony, my patience with you. It's been cutting thin lately. I let someone like Banner roam around with little to no civilians. I've been patient with you, allowing Agent Romanoff's lack of respect when it comes to this country authority. I've been patient with you and Banner Project. I've been patient that you lost that weapon. But this is not something I'm going to look the other way on. The man is not just dangerous to our national security, but the global security as a whole. From S.H.I.E.L.D. description of him, he could do damage to the world in more than Banner can do in a week. He can do it in an hour. At any moment, he could transform into the president of Russia and order a nuclear strike. He could assassinate any important figure in the world for that matter. Hell, he doesn't even need to order a nuclear strike. He has that kind of firepower on his own. He's a dangerous alien, and for all we know, he's a scout. And we're going to be invaded by a million more like him. And you wonder why I'm uncomfortable, just letting him wander around. While I appreciate your safety for the world, I wonder, is there another reason you want to talk to him? Because let me warn you, Nick Fury tried to put a few things over that kid. And sure, everything was peachy, but trust me, eventually, he will find out that you're screwing with him. And I doubt he will be as nice to you as he was to Fury, and he almost caved the director head in. I have been doing this for over 40 years now, and I have learned from past mistakes. I have learned to deal with Banner. I will learn to deal with Uzumaki. Don't poke the bear, like some may say. Then what do you want to the kid, Tony asked. All I want is to set some ground rules, Ross said. Tony raised a curious brow. Ground rules? Yes, our government believes that the best way is to set up ground rules so neither one of us step cross over our bounds. We don't want him blowing up a city, and I don't think he wants to be chased around a globe. Fine, I'll talk to him, but if he agrees with a meeting, I'll be there along with Captain Rogers to represent the kid. That's fair. You and Rogers will be hearing about future guidelines anyway. So, it's good that you sit in. Excuse me, Tony said. Didn't you hear Ross said a smile? I've been pushing for Sanctus to be placed on your team ever since I came into office. With the fall of S.H.I.E.L.D., you lack oversight. While you're still an independent task force, you operate within our borders. You're an asset to the United States of America by every other nation outside of our state. So, no matter how much you deny it, as far as I'm concerned, you guys are my responsibility. You're acting like we're doing any bad thing. We're just helping people. If it wasn't for us, there would be more than a couple of buildings knocked down by the bad guys. I am sorry to tell you, Tony, but one of these days it's going to be more than a few buildings getting knocked down. Do you really want to be the one held accountable for that? Ross asked. When it comes to work like this, it only takes one screw up. How long before that screw up happens? Tomorrow? Next year? Next decade? As far as I'm concerned, the Avengers run on nothing but luck. And luck always finds a way to screw things up. Always. I'll keep that in mind, Tony said. I'm sure you will, said Ross as he nodded. As he opened the door. Don't forget, Tony, one mistake. As Tony watched as the man left. As Tony turned around. How the hell do I get a hold of the kid? He wondered. Meanwhile, Naruto scrolled through his new phone, which they call a burner, as he could only remember two numbers, one of which being S.H.I.E.L.D., but now it was no longer in service. The other was Natasha's number, but he doubted he'll be calling her anytime soon. Finished off the third contact in his phone, as he write in, Jessica, business number, something he guessed that was her just personal number, because he didn't spot a home phone or anything in there. And the next thing he needed was Tony's number. He leaned back in his, or rather, Jessica's chair. So bored, he said. As he looked over, she's like a goddamn corpse over there. Why don't you leave then? Go find a woman that isn't a daytime drinker. I've had enough with this termagant. What? Naruto said. Termagant, said Kurama. As Naruto tried to wonder if he ever heard that word before. Never mind, said Kurama. She's not that bad, sure, she has a temper of a dragon, but you get used to it, Naruto said. You're just saying that because she reminds you of your teammate. Maybe, Naruto said, but I would say she's more like Snazzy, with the drinking and the cursing. It doesn't defeat the argument that you're projecting ghosts upon this woman, ghosts that she will never be able to live up to, ever, Kurama said. Naruto was about to say something when a knock came on the door. Jessica. Jessica, are you home? As he recognized the voice from yesterday, that other woman, as he reached over and opened the door, as she saw her, quickly went into her purse. Whoa, whoa, Naruto said. As she recognized him, you, she said. What are you doing here? Where's Jessica? She's sleeping, Naruto said. It's 2 in the afternoon, said Trish. Well, after she helped me out, we had a couple of drinks, said Naruto. A couple? Said Trish. Well, a couple bottles each, Naruto said. As Trish then looked at him, as she shuffled around awkwardly. Did you know, she said. As Naruto chuckled, from what I've seen from that woman, she'd rip me apart before I even get to first base. Her eyes widened, as he just mentioned her friend's secret. Then why are you here then, she asked, with a bit of edge to her voice. If you're worried that I'm staying around to abuse the knowledge that your friend got superpower, don't worry. I've met my fair share of them, and trust me, she won't be the last. My luck won't allow it. Why then, asked Trish. A woman came over this morning for a job for Miss Jones. I figure I'll stay and tell her when she wake up. She's been passed out for a while though, hell. I went to get a new phone and stopped by my apartment. The only thing I've not gotten to do is to get something to eat. Trish stepped inside. As she walked over, Jessica, she yelled. Jessica, I swear to God if you don't get up, I'm going to throw away all of your booze. I know where you keep them, remember? Jessica, with her head buried into her pillow, she mumbled out some rubbish. Fine, I'm calling Hogarth. I would say this is a house call worthy something, said Trish, as Jessica screamed into her pillow. As she got up, what time is it, she growled out. 2:30. I'll be back in an hour, said Trish. You better be up when I get back, she said, as she walked past Naruto and grabbed him by the elbow and started to drag him away. Where are you going, said Jessica. Lunch, Trish said. Time skip. Naruto held back a sigh. Of course, he thought, as he looked at the menu in his hand. What? Kurama said. There's no ramen on the menu. I wonder if they would make it if I asked, he said, as he flipped through the pages. You're on a date with a beautiful woman, and this is what's coming to your mind? If it was possible, I would come out there and slap the shit out of you, Kurama said. I've got a hankering for ramen, that's all. And this isn't a date, this is lunch. I don't understand the difference, Kurama said. Well, there is one, Naruto said. That's just stupid. And if you ask them to make you ramen, I'll make you regret it. And I'm not kidding, Kurama said. Fine, Naruto said, as he looked over towards a woman sitting across from him. Have you been here before? A few times, Trish said as she looked around. I like to come here by myself most of the time though. Why? Naruto asked. Well, you're the first person I met and you haven't figured out who I am, she said. Am I supposed to know who you are? Naruto asked. How old are you? Trish asked. 24, said Naruto. Huh? You look more around my age. And what's that? Naruto said. Trish raised a brow. What is that theory about asking women about their age? I am not asking how old you are. I am asking how old you thought I was. Smooth, Trish said with a smile. 29. So why am I supposed to know you? Naruto asked. Well, even though you're younger than I thought, you probably still watched it. She saw a very confused look on his face as she leaned forward. It's Patsy. Who? Naruto said. Trish blinked. You really don't know what I'm talking about? Nope. Am I supposed to? He asked. You never heard of It's Patsy? Of Patsy Walker? She asked in surprise. Why should I have? Naruto asked, as he was still confused. It was a TV show in the late 90s. Super popular. You're telling me you never even heard of it? If it helps, I'm not from the US. And if I gotta guess, I would say you're Patsy. I was Patsy, Trish said. But I don't do that kind of stuff anymore. But I can't believe you haven't heard of it. I've had man from the Philippines send me fan letters. Isn't that a good thing? Naruto asked. Not having someone recognize you for once. Yeah, I suppose. It's just a little weird. Nah, weird isn't the right word. Well, novel, Trish said, cutting him off. What? Naruto said. Oh, sorry, I just thought of the right word. Novel. It's a novel experience, Trish said. Oh, said Naruto, as he didn't know where to go from there really. The two sat in their booth in a newfound silence as Trish was playing around their silverware as Naruto was playing with the ice in his cup. Thankfully, the waitress came to them as she had a thick, queen accent. What y'all want? She said. Oh, I'll have a daily club, please, Trish said as she handed the waitress the menu. Side, the waitress said. Fries, Trish said. As her eyes shifted over to Naruto. You, she said. Yeah, do you have, as Naruto heard Kurama growl in his head. Cheeseburger and fries, he said. If the waitress have a shift in his attitude, she didn't really care, as she just took the menus and slowly made her way back to the counter. So, Trish said, what do you do? As Naruto strolled through the jobs, he think that would make sense. But he sighed in defeat. Nothing, he said. Trish raised a curious eyebrow. Nothing? Nothing at all? Well, I just got back, so I haven't really found anything to occupy my time with. Probably something here in New York, or maybe not. Well, what did you do before? You have to do something to pay Jess. Freelance stuff, I guess you could say. Like freelance photography or something? Yeah, something like that, sure, Naruto said. Trish rested her hands on the table. Well, I know some people over the Daily Bugle if you're desperate. I heard the publisher is a piece of work. It's nothing great, but it would be something. I'll keep that in mind. What about you, Naruto said? Have I seen you in anything recently? No, I haven't acted in anything in years. I'm just getting back into it with my talk radio segment. As she saw the confused look on his face, it's like a talk show, but with a wider range of audience. Oh, so you have like celebrities on and stuff? Anyone super famous? A few, she said, but my favorite guests are a little more boring. Someone like Simon Williams. Like who? Naruto asked. People like Randolph, like Stylen, or Maraja Dairy. I really just want to dig into their policies, what made them right for their position, and put in some of their less popular decisions in office. Even the good things, I didn't want them to be swept under the rug. I want them to be shown, outward, broadcast. Stuff like that need to be public. Trish explained as she was giving off a passion for her work. I don't know, Naruto said, sometimes ignorance is bliss. And sometimes that ignorance come back to bite us in the ass. Just look at Shield. If we had known about half the stuff that has been going on over there, do you really think that Hydra wouldn't be flushed out quicker? Sometimes keeping people in the darkness is the best option, Naruto said. There was this village, Naruto said. There was a lot of clans inside of it. One of the clans thought that they were losing their power, so they wanted to revolt and take it back. Take over the village, mostly. And they wouldn't back down. The leader tried to talk, but they wouldn't back down no matter what. So in the dead of night, the leader of the village had that clan exterminated, killing every man, woman and child in their sleep. That's terrible, said Trish. It was, Naruto said. In one night he ordered the execution of 173 people. But in the end he saved thousands by avoiding a civil war. Even then, could you imagine the village reaction if they knew what was going on? They would have burst out into chaos. But that's a rare example. Nothing like that has ever happened here, Trish said. That you know of, said Naruto. So what, we should just take it? Let them lie to us and keep us in the dark about everything? No, you shouldn't. But absolute power corrupt rather easily. How would you handle it then, Trish asked. As Naruto smiled sheepishly. I am just an average guy as far as this goes. I wouldn't know how to fix any of it, just a bitch about it. That is how most things and people go. Here you go, the waitress said as she gave them their food. As she walked away. As Trish sighed, after Black Widow release, Shield and Hydra files, all I've done for the past years is talk about stuff that wasn't encrypted. I can only imagine how messed up that is. So this is the last thing I want to talk about on my day off. We can go to a lighter topic if you want, Naruto said. How long have you known Jessica? Most of my life. She's my adopted sister. Really? Naruto said. I would have never thought that. So what is with this attitude, Naruto said. Well, she wasn't this way before she... As Trish stopped. Before she what? It's not my business to say, Trish said. She lost someone, didn't she? What? Said Trish. I saw a look in her eyes that one of my friends used to have. Well, let's change the subject. No point in either of us going over something that neither of us should be talking about, right? As Trish couldn't help but smile back, finding his attitude infectious. Right, she said. But guys, to be ending this episode right here, if you want to see the next part of this, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below and turn that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And stay in tune for What If Naruto is a Deceitful God. And go ahead and check out What If Naruto was a badass genius. And What If Naruto is a smart prodigy. Go ahead and check out those and enjoy. And I hope you guys enjoy each and every episode today. And yeah guys, without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.